guess the thing with bands and stage times, in a way, the thing that's probably, it's almost a historic thing, that in terms of when people defined what a festival is, a festival being a multi-act day, all that sort of stuff. And I suppose to a certain extent it's an historic thing that's developed over the years. How did it all start? Well, I guess it really all started in the early days at Reading and Glastonbury, and it sort of just developed that, the headliner inevitably will play, a 90-minute set, sometimes a 120-minute set, but generally between 90 and 120, occasionally even longer. But it's unusual in a festival environment that they'll play that. And so to a certain extent that determines, on a status level, what everybody else plays. Because if the headline's playing 90, the people before are probably only going to be given 75, otherwise they'll be playing longer than the headliner type of stuff, and then the people before that. And I guess that's how it's developed over the years, really, if I'm honest with you. Could there be bigger gaps between bands? Of course there could, easily, but then you get less bands, you get less choice, you get less value for money, and it's something we've looked at a lot, something I look at a lot, but maybe there might be one less band per stage or something, and that would open the gaps up a little bit, but I'm not sure it'd make that much difference, really. Yeah, I mean, it could. I mean, I suppose in a way, the part of the reason why it starts as late as it does is, there's quite a lot of technical turnaround between one day and the next day. One headline act comes in, on the sort of Wednesday, Thursday, they get set up. All the lighting rigs get set up, the sound desks get set up, etc. And much of the day is in anticipation of that. That headliner on that day. When they finished, they strip out all their lights, or the lights that are specific for them and the sound that's specific for them, and then the crews work all through the night and put in new lights in for the next band. They do all of that, and then in truth, by the time the lighting guy for, let's say, the Saturday night band, for the Saturday night headliner, he or she will be working all through the night and probably finish at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, by which time then we'll start getting ready for all the rest of the bands. If we start at 11 o'clock, it isn't because people have been having champagne breakfasts, it's literally been pushed hard in order just to get ready for 11 o'clock, and that's also the same for for the arena, in that sense of it, where it all starts up again, getting it clean and tidy and making it feel as though it's freshened up for the next day after the previous day. But basically, the noise of a festival, the sound levels of a festival, are all actually determined by the noise levels at people's houses adjacent to the festival. And if it goes over a certain level, there's a maximum noise that you're allowed to go to when at somebody's adjacent house. Let's say that level is 70 dB at somebody's house. That's 70 dB if the amount of nights of music is between 1 and 3 to a maximum. If you do 4 nights, it goes to 60 dB, which is quite a big drop. And once that big drop is there, that makes the volume on site for the headliners, for all the other bands, etc., much harder to achieve, and so therefore the bands will be playing at a quieter volume than A, the audience would like, and B, the bands would like. Yeah, I mean, there'll be more. Yeah, I think there will be. I mean, for instance, this year I'm looking at a classical performance on the Thursday night on the Lakeside stage. So they'll, and that would be quite a special. If I can make it happen, it'll be quite a special classical performance. So there will be, but actually, everything that happens on a Thursday, apart from perhaps this classical performance, really is a bit of a rehearsal for the for the weekend coming, really. So it's a fine balance of trying to keep the licensing authority happy and the public happy. Well, there's always going to be a sprinkling of world music, but it's never going to be a world music festival. Um, I think the little bits that we had last year with Shaka and Eugene, for instance, went down, on the Lakeside stage went down particularly well. I think there'll be a little bit more, potentially a couple more bits of that this year. I think there may be a little bit of jazz thrown in this year. There'll certainly be a little bit of more classical music thrown in this year. But musically, I feel comfortable with where where we are, where John's taking it, where I'm taking it. I feel that we're in the right space. So it's definitely not going to become a world music festival, but there'll always be a sprinkling. I thought Scala and Kalakny were fantastic. I thought it was it was a brave choice, for me to say yes to it. I thought, but then it was a brave choice to start it in the first place. Really, I was keen to get out of the single person performance. We'd had Joanna Newsom, we'd had Tom York, we'd had Tom Jones, and I didn't want to sort of maintain that position of it can only be a single person performance. And sometimes it's hard to find the right act. Some acts get it, some acts appreciate what the slot is and understand it, and actually it's sort of become a fourth headline slot, really. Now Scala and Kalakny in no way could be described as headliners, but I thought it was I thought I was brave doing it, but actually I thought it paid dividends. I thought they were terrific. I discussed actually just with John last week, the week before, about a particular act that he put forward, which I hadn't thought about, which was rather stupid, as they're one of my favourite acts, so we've definitely been thought about, definitely been approached, and John's going to see the agent tomorrow, as it happens. No, I wouldn't, because in truth, I don't think they would come and do it if it was in a different arena, if it became this sort of superstar thing in a way. I think they come and do it because it is as small as it is. It is a select thing. It is a first come first serve thing nonetheless, even though it obviously becomes select by virtue of how many people can come in. But the truth is they wouldn't come and do it, I don't think, and certainly if they were going to come and do it in a huge arena, they'd want a huge fee, and we wouldn't be able to make it happen because we haven't got the huge fees available. Yeah, we don't. I mean, because it's not about DJ performance in that sense, really. I mean, there's always a bit of background music, but I suppose I could have not a DJ set, but I could have a DJ performing. DJ hosting the stage. At the moment, I don't really have a DJ hosting the stage, and there's absolutely no reason why I couldn't. So again, I think that's a good idea. I'll certainly look to get somebody in next year.